I stand before you today not merely as a lawyer, but as a voice for thousands of ordinary building owners across Kerala, people who invested their hard-earned money, dreams, and hopes into buildings, shops, and homes. People who now stand helpless before a system that promises justice but delivers it painfully late. Let me narrate a story that echoes in countless households. It is the story of a middle-class building owner. We'll call him Krishnan. Years ago, Krishnan built a small commercial building in the heart of town. With great difficulty, he rented it out under modest terms, trusting the tenant, believing that law would protect both sides. But times changed. The rent became negligible compared to market rates. The tenant prospered, expanded his business, even sublet parts of the premises. Krishnan, however, struggled to maintain the building, pay taxes, and make ends meet. When he requested the premises back for his unemployed son to start a small business, his pleas were ignored. And so began the legal battle. He filed a rent control petition, citing bona fide need, default in payment, and unauthorized subletting. The tenant contested everything. Years passed in the rent control court. Witnesses aged, evidence gathered dust, and the very purpose of the litigation began to fade. Finally, after nearly 3 years, the court ruled in Krishnan's favor. A moment of justice, you might think. But no, it was only the beginning of another ordeal. The tenant filed an appeal, then a revision. All along, he continued to enjoy the premises without paying fair rent or facing consequence. Another 6 years slipped away. By now, Krishnan was no longer a young man. His son had moved abroad in search of work. The bona fide need he proved so painstakingly had eroded with time. But justice still lived in dusty files. At last, after 14 years, the final judgment came. The tenant had to vacate. But friends, did Krishnan get his building back? No. He now faced the cruel world of execution proceedings, a trial after the trial. Fresh notices, resistance petitions, police assistance, an alphabet soup of delay. Every adjournment became a victory for the tenant. Court holidays, procedural objections, commission reports, all combined to rob the decree of its meaning. Months became years. The tenant, emboldened by the delay, filed another interim application, a plea to stay execution on compassionate grounds. Compassion. Where was compassion when Krishnan begged for fair rent? Where was compassion when his family waited for justice? Dear friends, this is not just a story. This is our systemic failure. The Rent Control Act was enacted to protect tenants from exploitation, but when misused, it becomes a weapon against genuine landlords. It punishes integrity and rewards litigation. Krishnan's case is not isolated, it is the norm. Should an owner wait 15 to 20 years to reclaim his property? Should a decree become meaningless because execution is a mirage? Shouldn't we, as legal minds and lawmakers, rethink this? I am not calling for the abolition of tenant protection. I am asking for balance, for reform, for speed, for sensitivity. Let judgments mean something. Let possession follow decree, not another lifetime of litigation. Let us ensure that justice is not merely delivered, but executed. Thank you.